Hello everybody, how's it going? I wanted to share my thoughts on the House of Xerjoff. And the thing is, well, I made a video about my thoughts on Parfums de Marly earlier today. And with the House of Xerjoff, I'm going to tell you straight up, there's one fragrance called Naxos that I rock with, and everything else is a pass for me, right? I'm not saying that all of them are bad, because that's not the case, but there is only one that I want to keep in my collection. The rest don't really care for. Now, I haven't tried everything from the brand, and of course I'm open to trying more from them, but the ones off the top of my head that I can remember trying are 40 Knots, Alexandria 2, Oudin Overdose, Renaissance, Italica? That's Cosmorati, but I feel like Cosmorati is under Xerjoff. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then there's more. But long story short, Xerjoff is like how I feel about the House of Xerjoff is how I feel about most niche fragrance brands, at least the big ones like Creed, Inicio, MFK, Raja. There's probably only one or two that I really mess with that I love. And then the rest of them don't come close. You know, there's not really consistency where I'm like, oh yeah, you guys got to check out this specific brand because they got absolute bangers. You know what I mean? With the houses that I just mentioned, onesie, twosie. Like, well, it's rare if there's two of them that I really, really love. But for Xerjoff, I know that they're very popular and a lot of people really do enjoy their fragrances. But for instance, with Oudin, right? When I tried Oudin, it smelled exactly like Chanel Edition Blanche. Exactly like it. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I smelled it. And to me, when I smell a niche fragrance that smells exactly like a designer that is half the price, it's an immediate pass. Yes, it smelled nice, but I mean, these things go upwards of $200 something, right? And that designer fragrance is, I don't know, $150, $130, something like that. And it just doesn't add up for me personally. And I believe that the Chanel one actually came out first. So whenever I smell a niche fragrance that reminds me of a designer scent, even if it smells good, I kind of pass on it just because I don't really find that to be worth it because it doesn't stand on its own individuality, right? With Oudin Overdose, I liked it better. Is it Overdose, Superdose? No, I'm thinking about Juliet Has a Gun. My bad. But with the Overdose Oudin, I liked it better, right? I like the ginger from it. I like the barbershop vibe, but I prefer At the Barbers by Maison Margiela. I think that At the Barbers is just a sexier, much better smell. And Overdose was just, eh. It was like the actual scent of it was like a 5.5, 6 maybe out of 10. With 40 Knots, I was really looking forward to trying that one because a lot of my subscribers told me that if I love Ombre Nuit, which I do, then I'm going to love 40 Knots because it's a niche version of that fragrance. And mind you, this was during the time, actually it was after the time that I was wearing Ombre Nuit nonstop because Ombre Nuit was my signature for months. And then around the tail end of that, that's when I smelled 40 Knots. And I got the similarity, but it just didn't scratch that itch for me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, have you guys seen like those funny things of how there's Drake and there's like a guy that is trying, like, not, he doesn't pretend to be him, but like, I don't know, he's been going on radio stations because people think that he's Drake, like an off-brand version of Drake or something like that. That's kind of how I felt about 40 Knots is I get the DNA, what it was trying to do, how it has that similarity to Ombre Nuit, but it wasn't as good as Ombre Nuit, you know? And I was just like, no, I don't like it. And I gave that thing multiple wears because for me, I want to test things multiple times, unless it's something that I absolutely hate, like Hyrax, then I am not going to give that a second shot. If it makes me sick, no. But if it's something likable, then let me give it 3 to 5 tries and let's see how my taste, if my taste changes, if it adapts, if I hate it more. And I think it went on the decline, actually. The more I tried 40 Knots, the first time I tried it, I was like, oh, okay. And then the more I tried it, I'm just like, yeah, this is not my thing at all. So that is a pass. With Alexandria 2, which is a huge, very popular fragrance in the fragrance community. Like, that is known as like a king of fragrances, right? And to me, I had an interesting experience with that one where I didn't like it at first, and then I started to really like it. So it kind of trended upwards. Excuse me, my throat is itchy. And then I hated it. And that one also I gave multiple wears to, and I tried it daytime. It was better suited for nighttime, so I mainly tried it at nighttime. And the more I wore it, I was just like, I don't really like this. You know what I mean? And then I just stopped wearing it. I just was not feeling that fragrance. Now I know that that one gets a lot of love in the fragrance community. That one gets a ton of love. And of course, I would suggest to sample that. I wouldn't say to blind buy it by any means. If you have taste like myself, or my kind of taste, that's what I mean. But yeah, that one was a pass, right? So the one I have here, which is Naxos, my favorite. I love how smooth it is with that honey, with the tobacco. It smells smooth and badass at the same time, which it has its own uniqueness. You know what I mean? When I smell Naxos, I don't think of other fragrances. It still has its own individuality, and it's something that makes a great impression. And this left an amazing impression on me the very first time I wore it. And for all the times that I wear it, like that I've worn it since, it's been just as amazing. So this has consistently stayed great. And my opinion on Xerjoff is very similar to how I feel about a lot of big name niche brands like Raja, Anicio, MFK, Creed. You know what I mean? Like, out of the ones that I just mentioned right now, there are probably one, at max two fragrances that I really love from those brands. Most of the time, it's only one. There's only one that I'm like, okay, I get behind it. It's the breakout star, aka Naxos, and the rest of them are just like third string and not worth it in my opinion. Versus, you know, if you saw my video with Parfums de Marly, I liked the consistent bangers that they had for my taste, right? Now with things like Montal, I've only tried a couple. Like Intense Cafe, which I liked, and Honey Oud, which was a pass for me. Didn't like that one. Mancera, I've tried about 3. I love Cedrat Rosé the most. Instant Crush was a pass, and so was Red Tobacco. Hated that fragrance. So that's just kind of been the trend with these niche brands, that there's one diamond in the rough, and the rest I don't really like. And you could say that that could be the same thing for all fragrances, right? There's not that you can find one fragrance from one brand, but the rest of them are just not up to what you like. They're not up to your personal standards. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Xerjoff. Anyways, you let me know what you think of this fragrance brand. I know that this is a lot of people's favorites. And the thing is, when you look at the presentation, yeah, but for me, I'm definitely more of a juice person. I know some people like to really go into depth about the presentation of their fragrances and the bottles and stuff like that, but I don't really do that. I am mainly focused on the juice, how I like it when I wear it out there, and then also, you know, how giving you the honest feedback on how people around me that are not into fragrances, how they feel about these scents. Anyways, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.